King, it's too late. And Andrew, I suppose I should just ask you, putting on your psychotherapist hat, what advice you have when people start to stress about all this?
Well, I think the first thing is to roll with the punches to some extent, and that might seem a bit glib. But the thing is, we're a bit tough on ourselves. You know, we think we should have got it right. We always have to be right. We have to be like gods on all this thing. We can't get it right. You know, it's not just the bankers got it wrong. We got it wrong. All kinds of very bright, intelligent people got it wrong. So the thing is that we just have to go with it. Life isn't about everything going right all the time. And that might sound callous to people, but it absolutely isn't. And, you know, for many, many years I was a therapist. I was listening to people where their lives were going horribly wrong. And what I was helping them to do, I hope, was to try and roll with those punches and say, this is the way it is. Sometimes life's crap, and you've got to deal with it, and this is the way to deal with it, you know.
Okay. Tristan Good emails and says, sorry, I've had to turn off your programme for the first time ever because listening to this is too stressful and upsetting. When our fixed rate ends in February 2010, it's almost certain we'll lose our home. We bought our first house in 2007. We fought like hell to get on the property ladder. I wish we hadn't bothered.
Yeah. Well,
that's terrible, isn't it?
Yes, it's a terribly sad story and repeated up and down the nation. However, in this country, let's be positive, such a person will not be homeless. There are ways of getting homes. You will not be out in a cardboard box on the street. So there are people to turn to get help in that sort of situation.
But it's interesting, I was just reading, sorry to interrupt, reading this morning that there's a big difference between Britain and the US. In America, if you are behind with your mortgage and you're in that kind of situation, you walk out the house and the bank takes the house. They can't then come after you.
Correct.
For the difference between the cost of your house at auction and the mortgage.
It's a big difference.
Right?
It's a big difference.
Now here you get chased for the rest of your life.
Yes, you do.
And that's just to say that that's apparently part of the reason why the banks have been in a disastrous situation in America, because they have not been able to get anything like the money back.
Yeah. Oh, it has been disastrous in America, and I know people who've been in that situation where, you know, middle-class people, professional people can say, I'm blowed if I'm paying this money every month in my mortgage for a shrinking asset, just hand the keys back and they can walk away. As you say, you can't do that in Britain.
Did you bring that in here?
Get done for. Well, it would certainly be easier for people, and the financial institutions could run their affairs accordingly, having learnt things from this time.
But everyone would, I mean, so many people would do it. Would they just,
yes,
they'd just leave?
Absolutely they would. And I think that would refine the minds of the lenders for the future, and that's no blinking bad thing.
Okay, listening very attentively is Sally Traffic. No blinking bad thing either.
Oh, well, thank you very much. You're not so bad yourself. High winds are affecting Britain. That's it. I'm back in an hour with Steve Wright.
Sally, thank you. Liz Barrett emails, I wish somebody would show me where these bargain properties are. I think the current publicity about crashing is inaccurate. People are reluctant to sell. Properties are not coming onto the market. The market is stagnant. I live in Devon. There are no bargains here. Anything worth buying is snapped at a realistic price. It's only the properties which are of little interest or genuinely overpriced that are not selling. Okay, Quentin in Bournemouth is on the line. Hi, Quentin.
Hi there, Jeremy.
You are rejoicing.
I wouldn't say I'm rejoicing, but I think that the chickens have come home to roost. I just want to say very, very, very briefly, I really enjoy your show, by the way.
Thank you.
I agree with what Andrew's saying, and what your former telephone guests have been saying. I can't really add anything more to them, to what they've been saying, which is essentially that, you know, how much further can you push this? The bubble had to burst. It was all being funded by cheap and easy and irresponsible credit. I think you know, it makes me sad when I hear about people like Tristan, who you know is in a situation now.
Yep.
And also we tend to look at these things. I mean, from a you know, in our society, we tend to look at things from a very consumer-centric, individualistic viewpoint. You know, how does it matter to us? What do I get out of it? You know, me as a consumer. But we also we also mustn't forget that in this obsession with using property as a capital, you know, as a source of capital gain, has also pushed up prices for property in Eastern European nations, in Europe.
Well, we were hearing in the back end of the boom about the bubble in Bulgaria, weren't we, Andrew? I remember that I walked past an exhibition centre once a week in London on the way to work, and first they have Dubai, which everyone knows about, then they have come and buy a property in Bulgaria.
Absolutely, and as Quentin is saying, unfortunately that's backfired for a lot of Middle European countries, because all of us borrowing money on the back of our supposed increased and fabulous wealth went out there and did things to those markets which we're now coming home to roost, we should be very sorry about.
Quentin, thank you for your call. Josh Whiting in Sunderland says, I bought in 2007, and down the road from me there is a place that's worth £40,000 less than we paid. We're trying to sell at the moment, but we're not able to get the deposit together because it's all in the house. We don't know what to do. Okay, we can't answer that because we don't know why he's having to sell, but best avoided, I guess. Louise, not her real name, is in Plymouth, says the fall in property prices is a nightmare. My husband and I are getting divorced, but because of the negative equity, we're stuck and we're now having to share the house.
Yeah, this is a real devil, this one, isn't it, for Louise? Mind you, I was a marital therapist for many years, and a substantial minority of people are, quotes, divorced while they're living together anyway. I know that's a bit of a bombshell to throw into this story, but it's a fact. The 40% of people, whatever it is, 40% of people that actually get divorced, you've got to add on to that the people that are what I call secretly divorced, living under the same roof, but not really married in any meaningful sense of the word. And, of course, this kind of bomb that hits such relationships, it makes everything 10 times worse. So Louise and her partner are going to have to do a lot of listening and loving each other in the biggest sense of the word. Not sexually, I don't mean, of course, but I mean in the agape sense of loving as a human being, to get on with each other and caring for each other in an extremely difficult time. And they probably need some outside help to do that, I would guess.
Thank you, Louise, for that. Finally, Andrew, give us your impressions of where this market is going, because we have heard people say that 2007 prices will never return. Never.
Well, it's a brave man who'll say never about anything. I hope we'll have learnt lessons. We certainly didn't learn lessons from the 90s crash, which was not as fierce as this. So I hope that we will, and that fundamental changes will occur, like an alteration to the rental market. Attitudes will change to sharing houses and so on, and hopefully that when we come out of this we will stop thinking of our homes as properties and things where we can make cheap profit and make gains and win over other people and so on. I would like to think that we could come out of this learning to think of our homes where we live as somewhere to bring up our families, live, whatever, peacefully and lovingly together, and not constantly be on the gimme, gimme, gimme with all the greed and the upward spiral.
Thank you very much for joining us. Fascinating. Andrew Stanway, property expert and psychotherapist. His book is The Ups and Downs of the Property Ladder. It's Radio 2, the Jeremy Vine Show. Terry Walton begins a new series with us next.
They used to be.